Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.
Hello, I'm Laurie Steiner. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, we'll enlighten you on how light and dark dictate your sleep patterns. Getting tense over your upcoming taxes? Let AARP do them for free. We'll document the details. Then, whether or not you may have cold hands, you can still have a warm smile. We'll offer help. Plus, parts of Cleveland's past were lost, but now have been found. We have the pictures to prove it. And your goals can help you score and improve life. We'll offer a game plan.
It's time to get geoing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. I got rhythm, and so do you. And while each of our rhythms may march to the beat of a different drum, they are all tuned into our waking and sleeping. Dr. Kingman Stroll has joined us in the UH Broadcast Center to explain. Dr. Stroll is the Director of Research in Sleep Medicine at University Hospital. So welcome to our show here.
Yeah, thank you.
We're actually talking about circadian rhythm, right?
Well, circadian rhythm is really the changes and variation across the day in temperature, activity, hormones, sleep-wake cycle.
Okay. But you can use circadian rhythm to kind of improve your life, right?
Well, you probably aren't aware of how often it affects you. When you wake up in the morning, the bright light resets your rhythm every day, just to be able to make you aware of when's the next time you want to go to sleep, when do you want to be vigilant, when do you want to be active, and this is something that's going on for ages.
So does this explain why there are some people who are morning people and some who are night people like I am?
So we call them night owls and larks, and those people are some of them are familial. That is, if your parents were a lark or a night owl, you're more likely to be that way. But you can also sort of have your preference. We're very thankful to have that variation because we do want people to be working nights at the gas factory or somewhere to be able to keep us safe.
So is it really the dawn's early light that gets us up and going in the morning?
Well, your circadian rhythm is set by this light-dark cycle, and it's a little bit different for each person. So a person who is at delayed phase, that is, likes to go to bed late and sleep in, will have a different response in terms of putting their sleep in that particular rhythm than a person who goes to sleep at 8 o'clock at night and wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
And does this change as we age?
Well, we think it changes a bit, and it changes also because of your activities. When you have children and you have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you really have to adjust your schedule and your sleep-wake. As you get older and your activities are not as strong during the day, or your schedule is not as regimented, you can loosen up those periods of time, and your times of sleep and your expectations of sleep can make a mismatch.
Okay. Now, is natural light and artificial light, did they work the same way in the cycles?
Well, we're attuned to natural light. I mean, sunlight is the variable of which we biologically respond to. But you can mimic it with some degrees of artificial light. And it should be sort of full spectrum light. So those people who have seasonal affective disorder, who need a bright light boost in the morning, really have a particular dose of what we call full spectrum light that they need in the morning to kind of reset their clock and reset their mood.
Okay. So when we're trying to get better sleep, it's basically dark in the bedroom and then a bright light to wake us up?
Well, dark in the bedroom is ideal because then you know and your brain knows that it's dark, and there are certain hormones that respond to that dim light or that dark light. And in the morning, the bright light actually reduces those particular hormones and sets you on your day and sets your circadian rhythm for the next 24 hours.
Great information for us, thanks. To rise and shine, the spotlight needs to be on your circadian rhythm. My thanks to Dr. Stroll for his wake-up call about the connection between our bodies and the light and the darkness around us.
Learn more by calling the Center for Lifelong Health at University Hospitals at 1-844-312-LIFE. That's 5433. Or visit their website, www.uhhospitals.org/lifelonghealth. Next, making tax time less taxing. But first, to coin a phrase, a guinea for your thoughts. That's what you might be offered in England. But can you guess why the English call their gold coins guineas? We'll pay out the answer when we return.
Right now, the trusted experts of University Hospital's Seidman Cancer Center and the most advanced cancer-fighting technologies are in 17 community locations. That's leading-edge care, where you're most comfortable. That's UH Seidman Cancer Center. Right now, proton therapy, a revolutionary treatment for many types of cancer, is available for the first time in Ohio, and only at University Hospital's Seidman Cancer Center. That's the future of cancer care. That's UH Seidman Cancer Center.
Originally, gold used for guinea coins made its way from the mines of Guinea, West Africa to jolly old England. Though not minted since 1813, a guinea still has monetary meaning, a total of 21 shillings.
While tax help is always welcome, the price we have to pay for it can be a tax on our budgets. But now, thanks to AARP, seniors can take advantage of free tax help. AAR tax aid volunteer Sheila Holmes is here to freely talk about this free tax help, and we welcome her freely to the show. So, this program actually starts in February, but tell us how this tax program works.
Well, the first thing you have to do is go onto an AARP tax aid site or call and find a site nearest your home. Then once you get that information, you call and make an appointment to come into our sites. And when you come in, please bring in a photo ID, your Social Security card, all your documents you'll need to prepare the 2017 return, last year's tax return, and any information that you have regarding your health insurance. But please wait for all those documents to come in so you don't come in again and we have to amend your return.
All right. So once you come in, you've got your appointment, you sit down with a volunteer like you?
Yes, but first you go in, when you come in, you're greeted by an intake volunteer, and they will take down all your information on an IRS intake sheet. And then once they've made sure that they have all the information they need, like your dependents, if you're going to itemize, they pass it off to a person that puts it into the computer. Then they print it, and it goes to a quality review person that goes over the entire return and all the documents with you. This way, 3 sets of eyes have looked at your return. Then we have you sign a paper giving us permission to electronically file your return. But the taxpayer is ultimately responsible for the accuracy of the return.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess that would make sense. They're giving you the information. So once it's electronically filed, you're done, right?
Well, basically, you are done when you leave. But by filing electronically, it's safer when you file electronically, for one thing, but then if you have your refund directly deposited into your checking account, it doesn't have to go through the mail or snail mail or anything. But some people still prefer to get a check in the mail. What's also nice is we handle both your federal and your state, and some sites we handle school district returns.
Okay. How fast can you get your money if you electronically file?
Well, it changes every year. Last year it was a little slower, and I think this year it'll be even slower yet.
Uh-oh. Oh, everybody's waiting for that money. Now, are the volunteers who help prepare these tax returns actually CPAs?
No, we're not. We're volunteers. We have to go through training and pass an IRS test before we can prepare or help prepare returns. And the IRS will come to our sites to make sure we're meeting all their standards, because this program is run in conjunction with the IRS.
Oh, okay. The bad guys. Can any senior take advantage of having their tax return done for free?
Yes, they can, but it's not only seniors. We also help low to moderate income families and singles. And we only do personal returns, though. We don't do businesses or farms or rentals or anything like that. And just to let you know how many people we helped last year, there were 1,552 volunteers at 270 sites, and we helped 129,000 Ohioans prepare their returns. And this is our 49th year to offer this service, but you don't have to be an AARP member to take advantage of it. We do like you to make sure, like I said, that you have all your documents first. We need volunteers, so if you'd like to volunteer, you can go on the website and sign up.
So our viewers who need their taxes done, or those who would like to help others do their taxes, should call.
They should.
All right. If you need aid with your taxes, now you know that AARP Tax Aid can help for free. To find the location near you, you don't need to tax your brain at all. Just use the information that's coming up next. My thanks to Sheila Holmes for sharing such welcome news.
To find tax aid help near you, call AARP in Ohio toll-free at 1-888-227-7669 or visit www.aarp.org/taxaid. Next, a smile to welcome winter. Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. Want a loving look at two musical legends? Mark January 27th on your calendar. That's when the Cleveland Jazz Orchestra and the Musical Theater Project present The Gershwins in Hollywood at Playhouse Square. For tickets to this tuneful tribute to George and Ira Gershwin, call 216-241-6000 or click to www.playhousesquare.org.
Baby, it's cold outside, but you can warm up someone's day just by sharing a smile. And now there are new ways to upgrade your grin and make it last longer. Dentist Steve Marsh is here with the dental details. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks so much, Lori.
Now, we thought nothing lasts forever, but you have a material that comes close to it, right?
So one of the biggest changes in dentistry over the past few years is a material called zirconium. And zirconium is a type of porcelain, but it's 4 times stronger than any porcelain we used to use. So I actually have an example of it. I'm going to hold it up here. And this is actually a crown on a digital model. And today we use a 3D printer to print these models. So we take a digital impression, 3D printer prints this model, and that's actually a crown that's going to go in someone's mouth, a woman this week, and the crown is sometimes done digitally, sometimes by hand, but it is made of zirconium. Zirconium is very, very strong, and it's excellent, especially in back teeth and some other areas.
Okay, so that must be where mostly it's used then, on those molars that really have to crunch the food.
Well, great question. So we've always used it in the molars. That's where it was really developed for, because when you close down, it's almost like a nutcracker. We're past the Christmas season, but nutcrackers have most of the pressure back in here. And so it was very good for back teeth. The color wasn't as good as normal porcelains. Well, today, the colors, the vibrancy is almost equal today to old porcelains. So we can use it in the back. We can use it for bridges when there's spaces. We can even use it in the front in some cases. Again, it's something you can be it works very well.
Okay, you probably have some pictures here to show us.
I thought that would be the best way. So let's talk about wear. And this is what we see as a dentist, the before picture looking into a patient of mine's mouth. Very active in the community. He ground his teeth at night. He had a problem sleeping as well. And the only way to restore his mouth to a normal size was to use porcelain. Well, I've just mentioned these materials. In the back molars, we use this zirconium because we knew it would hold up very well. And in the anterior front segment, that's a different type of porcelain. If you look closely, Lori, it's hard to tell the difference, and you shouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, I would not be able to know, no.
So again, this is a combination of porcelain, zirconium in the back for strength, and some of the older porcelains that we use in the front that still have beauty, still strong, but not quite as strong as zirconium. Here's another use. Patients of yours that have lost teeth, or not yours, but viewers, let's say, who've lost teeth, used to have a partial that went in, or sometimes a bridge. The bridges, Lori, were made of an acrylic on metal or a porcelain on metal, and sometimes you saw that metal showing after a period of time, or the porcelain would break off the metal. Today, this is an example of a 4-tooth anterior front bridge that we did to replace the missing tooth. That was the day the tooth was taken out. And you can see it looks beautiful. Again, no metal, porcelain, very strong. We think it'll last the rest of her life. She still has to take care of her teeth. And just as an aside, her lower front teeth were very uneven. We wanted to focus on the upper, so I did some reshaping, contouring very easily. But that's a wonderful use of porcelain. And zirconium. We talked about implants before. This is a patient had 3 implants, her lower right. We use zirconium again. It's very strong. Sometimes we connect them together, sometimes individual. In this case, individual, so she can still keep it clean, floss between them. It really a wonderful answer to her problem. I think we have one more. And this is a really interesting case, and I'll try and go through it quickly. A young girl with her boyfriend, she fell down, broke off all her front teeth. They were not savable. They had to be taken out. Because of the fracture, she lost a lot of bone as well. This is a zirconium, all zirconium bridge. If you look closely on the before, you can see the pink porcelain. So we have zirconium, we have a pink porcelain. We placed it in her mouth. She was missing the 4. We used 2 teeth on either side. Not a candidate for implants again because of bone loss. So zirconium is not only beautiful now, but strong, even on a 24-year-old girl who wanted to restore her smile.
Yeah, hopefully that'll last her lifetime.
That's what we're hoping, yes.
You can have the coolest smile in town using the hottest in dental design. For help, give Steve a call. The number's next.
See what Dr. Stephen Marsh can do for your smile by calling 440-461-1003 or visit www.clevelandsmiles.com. Next, a picture-perfect past. It's time to get up and go, an exercise segment on golden opportunities.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and today we're going to show you how to strengthen those ever-important shoulder muscles. You ready to go?
I am absolutely ready to go.
Let's do it. We have exercise bands here. This is called a front raise using our exercise band. What we're going to do is we're going to step on the center of the band. Okay, we want to again offset our feet so that way we make sure we stay nice and balanced. Maintain very good posture. All we're going to do is simply bring the handle of the band up to about shoulder height and then lower it back down to your thigh, okay? Again, we're looking for 15 to 20 repetitions on this one. Use slow and controlled movements and make sure you're breathing. How you feeling, Lori?
Oh, that's tough.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
and
that's
actually,
a good
Lori
one.
is doing a very good variation of this exercise where she's using both arms together. So you can do either individually or like Lori's doing here, you can do them both together.
Cut time in half.
That's right. Fantastic. All right, everybody, 12 to 15, 2 to 3 sets. And now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 6105 Parkland Boulevard, Suite 140, Mayfield Heights, Ohio, 44124.
There's lots to love about Cleveland, but a lot of what we love has been lost. Thankfully, Laura DeMarco has found our old favorites once again, and she shares these places from the past in her book, Lost Cleveland. Laura is the arts and entertainment reporter for the Cleveland Plain Dealer. So welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me. This is great.
Well, you're talking about current art and events and things going on now. What brought you to write a book about the past?
Well, I'm a third-generation Clevelander, and I do write a lot about current things for the Plain Dealer, but I grew up hearing these stories from my dad and grandma about a Cleveland that was so different than the Cleveland I was living in, and I just wanted to, investigate and see what had come before.
Okay. You started something first in the paper, right?
Yeah, I started writing about Cleveland history and preservation and the lack of preservation for the paper. But I just, about a year ago, I decided I wanted to do more than what I could fit into a newspaper article, and the book was the result of that.
All right, so I'm sure the list of the losts is actually pretty big. We don't have enough time to talk about them all, but I want you to talk about a few of your favorites, like Euclid Beach Park.
Yeah, so when I do talk about Lost Cleveland, that is probably the thing that people remember the most. And it makes a lot of sense because Euclid Beach Park was there from 1895 to 1969 on the eastern shores, of Lake Erie and Cleveland here. And it just had a lot of, great memories for people. There was the beach house, the dance hall. the rides, the popcorn, the custard. So, I mean, it really inspired a lot of fun memories in people.
Yeah, I've heard about it even though I never went there, so.
Me too.
On your list next is something that was actually built not to last.
Right. This was the Great Lakes Expo of 1936 and 37 down on the lakefront, in front of where Municipal Stadium was. And Cleveland was very hard hit by the Great Depression, and the civic leaders and business leaders came up with this festival, kind of a World's Fair, to bring people back down into the city. And more than 7 million people came to the fair over those 2 summers. It was considered a failure, but by their terms,
that would have been great.
But by our terms, that was huge. And it had a lot of great entertainment, brought people into the city, helped local businesses. And as you said, that wasn't meant to last, and it ended up being demolished after 1937.
Okay. And I know people used to go downtown to shop, and we think of the stores downtown, we think of things like Higbee's and Hallie's and Sterling Linder and those places that were there, but you focused on one called The Bond.
The Bond. So The Bond was at East 9th and Euclid, and it was a little different looking than a lot of the other stores. It was an Art Deco or Art Moderne type of building. It was open in 1947 until 1978 when it was demolished for what is now National City Center, to give you a sense of where it was. It was inspired by World's Fairs, speaking of World's Fairs, and movie musicals, and it just had a fantastic, really beautiful kind of little bit futuristic look to it.
Yeah, that picture, that's amazing. It looks very futuristic. I would like it there now.
I know, I think it would fit in well with downtown now.
It would now. And we also have to note the place that's responsible for bringing the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to Cleveland.
Yes, when people started to build a case for bringing the Rock Hall here, this was the major site that they mentioned, Record Rendezvous, over at 300 Prospect Avenue. Was opened by Leo Mintz in the late 30s, and around 1950 he had listening stations there, and he looked up, saw some kids dancing, said they're rockin' and rollin'. Coincidentally, he sponsored the Moondog Hour by DJ Alan Freed, who we've all heard of, and together those two got together and threw the world's first rock concert at the old Cleveland Arena, which is also in the book, another lost landmark. And really that's sort of what our case for the Rock Hall was built on, those venues, and they have a huge importance in the music world and Cleveland history.
All right. Thanks for bringing us in touch with some of these past things that some people know and some people don't know.
Yeah, thank you so much.
In Laura's book, Lost Cleveland, there are many, many more pictures, stories, and memories of places that mattered here in Cleveland, but now sadly don't exist anymore. To find out more about Lost Cleveland, use the information that's coming up next. And my thanks to Laura DeMarco for joining us today.
Lost Cleveland is available for purchase at local bookstores and on Amazon.com. And to learn more, call 440-668-3283 or click to www.facebook.com/lostcleveland. Next, always prepared.
Steve and Joe are the same age and retired with the same amount of money, but Steve pays far less tax on his IRA distributions. How? By avoiding 5 costly mistakes. If you want to learn how you may be able to avoid these costly mistakes, join me, Jim Lineweaver of Lineweaver Financial Group, at the Brecksville Community Center for our complimentary program. We have 25 years of experience helping Cleveland area retirees. Seating is limited, so call today.
It's fun to set up a bucket list of all the exciting things you want to accomplish before you die. Personally, I would like to travel overseas. However, life and health can get in the way. You also need to have a legal bucket list of documents that must be signed now, before you become disabled or die. Here to explain what should be on that bucket list is my law partner, Mike Solomon. Hey there, Mike. So what is on the legal bucket list?
Well, this isn't exciting, but the 4 essential documents you need to address health issues and end-of-life issues are your last will and testament, a durable financial power of attorney, a healthcare power of attorney, and a living will. Those are 4 basic core documents.
Okay, sounds like an important list. So let's talk about each of them, starting with your last will and testament.
Okay, well, most people are familiar with that. That's the document that says where your assets go, who inherits them, who's going to be your executor. It's very, very important. So, and your will handles your probate assets. And many times people try to avoid probate, which we encourage. So, IRAs and other assets, you'll have beneficiary designations, but this controls the probate assets. And so if you have an IRA, by the way, the beneficiary form controls where the assets go. So if your will says, my IRA goes to my daughter, but your IRA form says your assets go to your son, your assets are going to go to your son.
Okay, so those things trump the will.
Right.
What if you're going to avoid probate? Do you really even need a will?
You always should have a will, because number one, you may forget about something, and then all of a sudden we have an asset without a will, and it's much more cumbersome to do an estate without a will. There's more paperwork, more expenses, so you should always have a will.
Okay, so how about then a financial durable power of attorney?
Okay, this is also a very crucial document. This document, you're giving someone the right to handle all your affairs for you. Filing tax returns, selling your assets, investing your money, with the idea that that'll be exercised if you're incapacitated either physically or mentally, though most powers of attorney are effective immediately. So once you sign it, the person can take steps. So you have to trust that person 125%, because they can do you damage with that document. So be very careful who you give the document to and who you make your power of attorney.
Okay, then there is the healthcare power of attorney and the living will, the last two documents. We kind of talk about those together, right?
Right, they're usually in tandem. So the healthcare power of attorney is a power of attorney. You're giving someone the right to make medical decisions for you. Now there, it's only if you're unconscious, obviously. And you give that person the right to do many things, not just, as people think, pulling the plug, not removing life support only, but it's also maybe the doctor says there are 3 different types of procedures. Here are the pluses and minuses. Who makes the decision? Just because you're the spouse doesn't necessarily give you the right easily to make that decision. So this will make it easy for the spouse. And even more importantly, if you're not married, if you're a widow, widower, this is going to name the person. Your kids can't just come in and say, hey, we can exercise dad's rights. This gives dad, names who dad has said.
The right to say who he wants to make those
That's
decisions. Correct. All right. Good tips on those important documents. Take Mike's advice and make sure your legal bucket list is complete. For more information, use the number coming up next.
Call Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information, or to schedule a speaker for your organization, or log on to www.ssnplaw.com.
Thanks for joining us. On next week's show, older adults may find themselves unexpectedly addicted to alcohol. We'll explain the reason for this risk. Then your RMDs from your IRAs could cost you BIG. We'll spell out how to avoid expensive errors. And identity theft occurs all the time. We'll stress the steps that you have to take to protect yourself. But until then, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
If you'd like to join our kitchen conversation, visit our website, www.goldenopportunities.tv. Like us on Facebook. Call us at 440-742-GO-TV or email us at kitchen@goldenopportunities.tv. We'd love to hear from you.
Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.